Okay, so I want to talk to you about flocking these trees, but before I do, I'm going to zoom in and show you a little bit closer, but I just want to mention something just for your own observation here, which I think is important. Notice these two trees right here, the one on the right and then the one on the left. Now these are all the same armatures that I initially built. Like there's a randomness in them, like little branches down below, and some of the limbs are a bit longer than others, you know. Like it doesn't have to, like they don't need to be uniform. That's the thing. You want them to be ununiform or just random, like limb sizes and so on. Now notice the difference on the one on the right, how I pulled all the branches, like I bent them up. Like after it was flocked, you can see that I just curled them up, all of them. That's what the aspen looks like. But notice the same armature on the left. Isn't that interesting? I drooped the limbs down like what you would see on a pine or a fir or something. This is what I mean, how this particular armature that I've been showing how to build is really versatile. It just depends how you bend the wire branches. And that is the reason for my madness with wire armatures, because you can basically suggest many different species by bending the limbs in a different pattern and by how you paint the trunks, whether brown, gray, white with blisters like aspen in this case, or the flocking as well. You can get really creative and try different colors. And at the end, I can introduce with an airbrush fall colors like subtle. I can yellow down the leaves, add a bit of orange, like control all that later up close with an airbrush. So that's why I wanted to point this out. So now I'm going to go in, I want to zoom in a bit and just show you, like here, this one on the left. See how all these branches that are unflocked and are like pointing way up like that? I want to zoom in and show you why I do that, and then give you an example of flocking leaves on these wire, actual fiber type branches, okay? Okay, so here's one of the examples of the wire aspen trees that I'm doing, and or what I mentioned before, you can turn it into other types of trees. So because of the wire limbs, they're really advantageous because you can actually pull them down. This has just been flocked. Actually, the glue is probably not even dry, so you will get shedding until it's dry and sort of massaged or shaken off. So the nice thing about the wire limbs is you can see you can sort of bend them down out of the way so that when you flock each, circumference of leaves, like in sections at a time, you can actually get them out of the way so you can get your brush in here. So I'll give you a good example. So here's the top, and in the same way, they're bent upwards. Once again, the reason for my madness of wire armatures. So I'm going to pull down, let's see, I'll pull down, yeah, like they're dual branch stems. So I'll just pull down two, one on each side, and I'll show you what I do here. Okay, so I get them like that, okay, and I have my flocking here. This is by knock, okay, so the knock leaves, like I find, the knock leaves are just one method of using, but I really like them because they are like individual leaves, like, see? Like, they're just really nice. Like, there's the other Scenic Express. I don't mind them either, but I like using those more for dead leaves and sort of, decaying organic matter, because, like, the Scenic Express are more crumbly. These are actually little paper. It's like really small scale confetti. Okay, so they're dyed paper. So I really like them. They take matte medium well onto these fibers. Just fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to take my brush now, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stab onto the fibers, like on the bottom first. And you can see the advantage of those static grass 12 mil fibers now that have been painted. Remember when we first flocked? Excuse me. You're going to see, like, look at the branch structure. You can see with the contrast, like, see how you still get that branch structure? And you want to be careful that you don't over flock or put too much glue on, which will take a little bit of practice, like I still, pump out trees that that I push to the back of the layout It's just the nature of the game. Trees are complicated. But, you know, the more you build them, the more fun you have with them, the better they turn out. Okay, so I've basically just saturated those fibers now with enough glue. So now watch, this is what I do is I take some of this now and I just sort of rain it down and I turn the tree, okay? You can see how it'll catch. Like you want to maybe at the end, like when you're putting the glue on the fibers, do the tips last so you get them wet, because when they catch the ends like that, they really look awesome. Like you don't lose all that infrastructure of secondary branch work on your tree armature, okay? So then I just tap them off, and then you can see there, like, see that? Isn't that neat? And then what you do is you just push these down out of the way, and then pull down your next group of branches, all right? And then you'll notice the top. Remember how when I made the armature, when you tie off your wire, you leave a long length? You can cut them off if you want, but you can see that when you flock with fibers. So here, I'll just do the top for you to show you. This is what's really important, I think, for model trees. It can't be overstated, because this really makes the tree look authentic. I might as well just do these bottom branches as well. Let's just move some of that out of the way so you can see that better. Okay, let's just get a little bit of glue on there once again. Very diluted matte medium. Just want to wet those fibers. Okay. Now we're going to take this flock again, and we're just going to slowly rotate. Of course, you get to recover all the loose fibers as well for more flocking, that's why this method is nice, because when you do it by hand, you save a lot more materials in the end, and you can control your leaf flocking and your branch structure much better than if you're just to spray adhesive on things, which you can do that too, but you want to be careful. Too much adhesive will cause the tree to be overflocked. So there you go. So you can see how that tree looks now. So this is done and it's ready for any kind of color adjustments that you can do with other different colors of leaf flock, or you can do it with an airbrush as well, okay? So happy tree modeling, and I hope you have a great day.